it's figuring out how long it will take. Either way, it's still using a complex task.
Downtime also doesn't. How many of you guys just like started a session, maybe intermediate rest, then you hit gearing up, then play stop for 45 minutes, then you carry on.
Right.
Well, the thing about downtime is it's essentially works like gearing up or an intel phase, but everybody, you hit downtime, everybody says, I'm going to do this. They make a roll, play moves on.
Right.
You know,
it's a single roll and you're done. It's not. It really does keep a lot of the extraneous stuff that happens in some extremely simulationist environments.
Right.
Down to a minimum.
Right. Yeah. No longer do you have to like roll to forge the handle, then roll to make the pommel. Then roll to make the sword blade, then roll to sharpen it. Oh, it's dull, you know, it's great. I rolled 55 times, then rolled one error, and I'm screwed, you know. So making Narsil is now something that happens, you know, the elders bang, 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 and picking up and rolling their 1d20.
And it can still be, you can still succeed and fail and all those other things, but it's resolved quickly, which is what's important, because that stuff that happens off screen, that's not the reason you're playing.
Why it happens off screen.
Right. All you want is a sword and water.
Exactly.
So, is there effects from critical successes during downtime?
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff?
We are still hammering that out. Yeah, that section is mostly done, but not quite.
Right. So yeah, there's kind of generic downtime uses you can do. For instance, you can do things to build stuff. But that's actually tied directly to crafting.
The profession check is the downtime one I talked about earlier.
Right.
That allows you to make money.
And there's a couple others which are escaping right now.
I can't remember them.
Okay.
That section's in.
Some of the networking contacts or some variety.
Maybe. I don't.
Yeah, this is one thing we're still like.
One of the things,
poking at.
to give you an example of what I think you're getting at, contacts will generally be something that you spend reputation to gain with it. However, you'll buy, in some cases you'll buy a contact, and it will be an off-screen person that your character has either always known or has recently met, and he's off-screen until he's used. So like, oh, this is my old buddy, you know, so-and-so, who's just recently come into the area or just recently was called in to help us or whatever. Sometimes in play, you'll say, wow, we've been playing with this NPC for a while. He's really cool. I want him to be a contact. And there'll be a section of the rules that allow you to develop contacts over time as you meet them in play. A lot of the game is being built, Fantasycraft especially, but this will also be forwarded into some of the other settings, so that continuous play is not. It is the standard, and you'll be able to make your character's network of friends and his abilities and everything else sort of grow over time, step by step. Can you make a networking check over time to just sort of know people? Probably not, because the rule would be simpler if it were just during downtime you can spend reputation to buy contacts and you just know them. In some cases, I imagine that there'll be a campaign quality that allows you to buy contacts retroactively. That's probably going to go into the game, because why not? So
how do you accrue reputation?
Reputation is handled a lot of different ways. You're going to accrue it generally by adventuring. It's going to be similar to XP.
Right. Yes, it's something you can do it by doing things. You can accrue it by, let's say somebody finds a magic item that's worth reputation.
You can actually sell it for reputation.
Yeah, you'd sell it for reputation. And also, there's sort of a bounty system where people pick up a sword. Like somebody goes, okay, well you've got one sword, there's 4 people. Everybody kind of wants it. One guy might take the sword, the other people get the reputation for the sword.
Right. The idea there is that, to give that example, some frame. So Alex and I and Scott and you are all out adventuring, and we find a sword and it's really kick-ass for your character. You want it. It's only one item. You take it. We get reputation. Why is that? Well, we were there when you found it. We get to brag about being there when you found it. It becomes part of our local lore. And later on, you find a more kick-ass sword, and you decide your old one isn't doing it for you. And how is it you sell it? Well, it's not so much that you're going in and getting like a reputation note. It's more
here's a cool thing.
It's more like you're passing it on to any of the local outlets that your GM determines would benefit from it. You might be a paladin and give it to your church, in which case your church would let all of its congregation, and they would let other people know that you are really cool, and they may help you out in the future in other ways. You might give it to the king, in which case he would tell all of his people to help you out whenever possible. So the reputation system is somewhat fluid on purpose to represent, well, reputation, so that the GM can define how you interact with the world.
One, eventually, it's sort of an economy of favors to you. You go in and say, I am willing to expend this much reputation. I'm willing to basically burn up these favors and goodwill with people because they're going to give me a sword I need when I need it. So, and then there's also another way you get reputation is actually just through adventuring, as Pat mentioned, a more specific example. Aside from mission
accomplishing specific.
It's the 8th column of a character sheet.
Yeah.
So we have a new column called Legend. Which is actually pumping reputation out. So you can be, I'm the world's most badass assassin, right? But nobody knows who the hell I am because it's not really, you don't advertise and be on sign. Professional murderer, you know. So he may have a huge legend. He may have wealth and things like that, but he doesn't build it up. He has to go out and murder. He has to do bits. So
a roll of paintings with the names of the victims would not be good.
Right, exactly. So it's one of those things that the legends is another aspect of your character that really can help flesh him out and build it. So as your reputation naturally grows, you get higher level, it naturally grows, and you're sort of, because it's kind of like being bulletproof in a certain way. You know, like every major celebrity, high level celebrity, and it's like, oh, so and so would never do that. So
on the flip side, though, are there attacks against reputation? I'm going to destroy your reputation.
I would imagine that there are.
Yeah.
However,
for doing so.
that has not been discussed yet. I imagine it will be, but
that's the part that's really scary.
Yeah, that's a really good question and not something I've considered to date. I mean, it's one of those things that would eventually come up no matter what, but it just hadn't come up in conversation.
Right.
We'll make sure that goes in.
I could be something like that.
Oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
reputation he has versus what he was.
Yeah, jot that down so we can take care of it when we get home.
Richard III did a beautiful job of character assassination.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Character assassination needs to go in the game.
My question is, what do you do in the instance of somebody who is looking for both? Like, they find the super sword, and then they take it and they go and sell it on the black market because their character's a thief.
Sure.
Do they get the reputation for finding it?
The reputation system works regardless of where who winds up getting the item. It's because the underworld has a reputation system too. So
well, first edition D&D. Look, I found out this recently. This is the exact opposite of how first edition D&D worked. Where first edition D&D, you would find an item, you would get the item, and you get experience points for finding the item.
And for every gold piece you found.
Right, yes. And Warhammer Quest didn't have XP, it just had gold. I like Quest as well. But anyway.
No, the XP for gold.
Yes. So instead of in this case, it's everybody else gets reputation. So you never have those fights over the sword, because especially when you're getting XP and the weapon, it does not compute for me. But I think really to give people that roundness and feel like they're not getting ripped off. They're still getting something that they can expend later. So, well, I can get ranks faster. I can go and get a contact I always wanted because I didn't
invest
take
in
the
that
sword.
castle.
Or I can invest in my castle, or what have you. So reputation is, and in a game like 10KB, reputation is already huge.
I use a guy called Bling.
Yeah, no, it's actually, we call it cred, but it's absolutely about your street reputation is invaluable, and building that around the characters is just a natural thing, just in a slightly different context.
So whenever you get that sword, for example, is the reputation everyone else gets immediate?